What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Jinx Did Nothing Wrong, and I thought that we would talk about the loveliness that is the fact that Yasuo is the next character that is being released, and it's actually in 2 days, and a new patch is also coming alongside of this character. This new constellation. So we're getting a Ionian 6-star. So I wanted to talk about it briefly, and also just tell you guys that another video is going to be coming up. I'll give you guys a sneak peek. No, I'm trying to test something. I'm testing something. Actually, I'll show it to you. All right, this is my idea, okay? It's an idea. So, with Disciple of Shadows, does Evelyn kill the husk before she absorbs it? That's my idea. Well, we're gonna find out in the next video. So, we're obviously gonna do a full run, and that should be fun. Anyway, let's see what they got cooking up for the boy Yasuo. Off center, you know, a little bit off to the left. He's chilling off to the left. But let's go over here. So this is already his current constellation, which is we'll just go down to here. So round start, Sun the strongest enemy. Super easy, the easiest thing ever. Very boring. I've said this about even I've said this about like Darius. I know Pedro wants me to play Darius, and I'm like, it's just so boring. So the cool thing about Yasuo, you can kind of just chill out. You can have it stun everything, level up, stun the whole board, all that good stuff. When an ally strikes, granted +1. Boring. Just never dull. Oh no, this is the definition of dull. And then we have Dragon's Rage, which is when you summon an ally, granted Fury, it's a dragon. That's interesting because obviously Yasuo starts striking things. That's actually where it becomes cool, making Yasuo a dragon or giving him anything like lifesteal or attacked. And when he attacks and it has impact, he would trigger impact on every single thing if there's an attack stun spell or something of that nature. And then there's the mana flow thing, and then there's here Typhoon. Round end, recall stunned enemies. Now that is really strong. Yasuo, I've seen people put Yasuo on their little tier list. People put Yasuo very high, I think because of his stall capability. His ability to win the run is very high, but his ability to make me fall asleep, way higher. It's dramatically higher. They're gonna get stunned and then recalled. So if Yasuo's on the field, he basically strikes it twice before it leaves the field. And if it still survives, then they have the absolute pleasure of somehow at that point playing it again, which could be detrimental. Not really. Even Lissandra, I don't think Lissandra's surviving this. If you can get Yasuo on the board, like if I got this power, I would take Yasuo, give him like the plunder stuff, get him out on the field as early as possible so that he could just start leveling up, and then he starts striking stuff, he starts getting attacked. Then this is him striking and recalling, and you just have to keep him on the board. And also because Dragon's Rage, these two together, all those strikes and kills and stuff like that are immediate. Also, if you guys haven't paid attention to something else that I showed you, like with Vex. So even the strike thing that Yasuo does, I can't even go to him right now, but the strike thing that Yasuo does is a skill attached to his body. Like it's not like, that sounds so weird, but it's not a skill. Like it's not like a skill that goes on the stack, it's attached to him. So very similar to the Ember Maiden, very similar to Xerath, very similar to like Vex, that it's a thing that's attached to the unit. So when it kills things, it goes up. So if Yasuo strikes with his ability, or if he's level and he just strikes like that, it's gonna trigger the dragon thing. So him on the field in general early is just gonna make him stronger and stronger. And then when he goes to level 2, he'll then have the then there'll actually be strikes. So at least his attack will go up regardless if the unit dies. And it's really strong. Mana flow is just sleeper, but then you're just looking for anything that says I stun, and you want to stun everything every 2 seconds, and then you pretty much win all things. I do think that this puts him in a level of like Morgana almost, like, right? Like very defensive. He's always been defensive, but I feel like Morgana was like pretty much you target that unit and it's gonna die, or it's gonna sit there in purgatory all day. So this to me puts him a little bit higher and just like overall consistency, especially if you have the combo of this. These two together are actually really cool that they made that. It's actually a very logical way of thinking. Is really cool. But those two together are like GG. Making him a dragon, and then on top of that, making that he recalls stun units. That means they had to have been struck by Yasuo once. But if Yasuo doesn't go on the field, you don't draw him because for some reason they don't want to give Farsight as a augment to any of these characters, as I'd rather that instead of mana flow, if I'm being honest. Like this unit has Farsight. But you know, at least your other units will have Fury. They'll get stronger as they're striking, and you know, you stun the strongest enemy goes back to the hand. They lost their strongest enemy. Yeah, so it's completely messed up. The big, like, not yet, so Aso can't stand a chance with this, right? How does Asol even be a, he gets stunned and he gets recalled? That would be funny. I would definitely like to see that. Asol constantly going back to the hand at the round end. What gets triggers first, the Typhoon or Asol summoning himself every 2 seconds at the end of the round? He just goes back to the hand and he's just screwed. That's just, I don't know, I just think that that'd be hilarious. And while I was at work, they decided to do literally everything. And I was like, okay, yeah, so I'll probably keep that in now that I'm thinking about it, but let's just, like, now all of a sudden they were like Swain, and then they have this video explaining even more things. Now they have patch 5.6. It's just like, they just dropped a whole bunch of stuff when I was at work, man. And I was only at work for a few hours. So let me first go and talk with this, because I kind of like the skimming thing. I'm not going to spend too much time on what they're talking about here. They do talk about the confusion of the currencies, which is, by the way, intentional. But it's, I'm sorry. I've said this before. I played mobile games for a long time. This is like a classic thing. They confuse the hell out of you, and it's intentional. But they do talk about what's coming next to the game, and I kind of wanted to showcase that so you guys can like see that. So I do want to address that slightly, is that like I've seen people say this on multiple occasions about like, you know, we're supporting the devs by spending the money, but it does not excuse crappy prices. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. You definitely want to pay. I don't think that any game has to be free to play. I really feel like I would rather a $30, $40 game and it be fleshed out like how I play Hades and stuff like that. But when they like make egregious things, like you have to call that out. I'm sorry. Like it's just that they specifically make it that there's no upper ceiling to it, right? So you can just keep spending and spending and spending, and some people get lost to that, and that's my concern. So I just always want to say that.
Now we'll continue to iterate and improve both on our event quests and these bundle offers.
And they have good events.
Anticipation with the release of the constellations feature gives us confidence that we've made a first good step.
In a way, yes.
About improvements we can make to the system, especially the clarity of these systems. Now we know we introduced a lot of new features, mechanics, and currency.
Yeah.
Now we know you have concerns about the time and effort it takes to earn some of these resources.
And honestly, that is the most important part of that, because how long it takes makes the bundles more valuable or less valuable. So they have to make it that it's a decent amount of time, and if they don't do it in a decent amount of time, then that's the crappy part. If they don't do it in a decent amount of time, then it like, you know, then you feel like you're forced to buy. And I feel like that's crappy. I feel like some people have been able to, even in the content creator space, like some people, if they were willing to spend more money, I saw a video and it almost broke my heart, man. It was from a creator I'm not too familiar with. I can't remember exactly what it was, but they said that they were buying stuff because they were content creator and they had to do it because, you know, they got to show content. And obviously it's not, you know, it wasn't like Snooey or anything like that, or I was gonna call him Right Toast because I'm a big FNAF fan. I know Right Toast. Spicy Toast Gaming. It wasn't either of those two, but it was someone else, and it was a smaller creator, and it really hurt my heart to hear them think that they had to spend money in order to create content. And in a sense, yes, like maybe computer stuff, but they not in your Riot-based game.
Especially the region-based star crystals and nova crystals. Now, while we don't have current plans to make large adjustments to the region-based aspect of the system, we are going to implement ways for you to target the regions you most
That's good.
as well as ensure you have clear ways to earn healthy amounts of star crystals overall.
I don't care about star crystals.
In the latter half of the year. In addition, we're also looking to improve the champion roster.
What is it? It's the Nova shards is what you want.
Now this is on our radar, and we're working to implement a better way to present that information.
So now that constellations are out, we're looking at giving you a pretty steady content cadence of bringing new content to Path, as well as giving existing champions.
This is the cool part.
The first of those is going to be Yasuo.
Yasuo.
We're going to be bringing Pike back, giving him a constellation.
So Pike's getting it.
A small update to his star powers as well. 5.6 will also bring Swain to Path of Champions.
We'll talk about Swain after this.
Champion with a constellation, as well as a boss. We're taking Swain out of Vi's story.
They just spoiled that. They spoiled.
Encounters and adding him to the world map for everyone to fight. So Swain is our first shot at a hard mode of an adventure, taking existing adventure, increasing the difficulty, and making it something that everyone can play against in order to give you all more content that can stand up to your new 6-star champions. In addition,
Oh boy.
we're also planning to expand weekly adventures, adding new difficulties of them that will be a better match for your constellation champions as well as giving you access to exciting new rewards like star crystals.
I want to pause that there, and I want to say this now, right now. That is going to be either received very well or very negatively. And what I mean by that is that whenever this is again for my mobile gaming large career, not just for my mobile gaming career, whenever they've added like stuff and it's like you basically have to utilize that new thing and people can't access it, there's always going to be people that complain so heavily on the fact that this is too hard, I can't do it. Now, Lissandra, we've all as a community decided that Lissandra is just RNG nonsense. So I feel like most people have written it off as it's just like, it's not like it's hard. It's hard, but it's like more annoying than hard. So they're going to have to do this Swain encounter in the weekly challenge stuff that they have that for your 6-star champion. But no one has, like literally like barely anyone. Barely anyone has no 6-star anything. Most people, what they're saying is that they chose champions that got them the Nova Shard that they were given, and they were lucky enough to get to that 6-star power, and like they're benefiting off of it. Right now, I have a Shadow Isles one and I have a PNZ one, and I really haven't gotten the ability to do that because I've only spent on that opening bundle that they had. That's the only one I spent money on. But the thing about it is that it's going to be really hard and difficult in order for people that if they didn't get a Nova Shard for the character that they invested in, you're just kind of screwed, right? And then if the new Swain thing is something that you literally need to have that busted 6-star power, because they're obviously going to scale stuff to that, right? Because if it's too damn easy, then it's going to be boring to play, right? Like when I looked at Snooey and like mostly Snoo, I think he has a lot of these the characters that they leveled up, and he's blowing through Asol, he's blowing through Lissandra, and it's like they're gonna have something that's hard for that. Now that's great. Now Snooey had spent money, his community is supporting him. That's awesome. Now what happens when broke old me comes in and I can't do that, or in people, or especially the not newer people, it's not for new people, but like people like, I can't beat this challenge, I don't have a 6-star, I don't have a 6 power, I can't get to it, I have to wait months to do it. That's where the complaints are going to come from. So let's hear them out.
On the PvP front, we're still tracking champion win rates and have some plans for nerfs to several of Elder Dragon's best friends, as well as some buffs to spirit cards that didn't perform as well as we'd hoped.
Yay.
Elder Dragon will be rotating during our August 1st rotation, so we'll have additional updates led by Paolo, another game designer on our team, to provide additional context on PvP. That's all for now.
Thanks for tuning in.
They're rotating the Elder Dragon is hilarious. All right, so that's what all they said there, and then we're just gonna look at Swain. Like I said, I think I'm gonna have my Yasuo one in the front, and then I'll just go back to Swain and what the hell is Swain doing. Swain is brand new, right? So this is gonna be me reading the brand new stuff, but we're still not gonna know those little intricate small things in between, right? And then I'll probably give Swain his thing. And if you guys know me, you already know what's coming. There's a certain type of video that happens when they do these reveals, and if you get caught, don't blame me, okay? So let's see Swain. And actually, Swain, if you guys don't know, let me give you a fun fact. Swain is actually like one of my favorite characters in League of Legends. Like Big Daddy Swain is something that I actually, not that I coined the term, but it's actually something funny that I like to do. He's really strong. He's really strong in arena. He's a pain in the ass in arena. So let's read these. So I'll just go straight down to crush the week, right? So your first 3 spells. Also, okay, maybe I shouldn't. Your first spell or skill each round deals 1 extra damage for each 5 health the enemy nexus is missing. That's crazy. Your first spell each round. Okay, so this one is your first 3 spells each round, 5 health. So as you're pinging their health away, you're gonna do that. That's obviously you're begging. Very skill based oriented, right? So Swain doesn't have any elemental stuff, so I'm not thinking about that at all. But like it's very interesting. So you just do 1 extra damage for each 5 health the enemy's nexus missing. That is so good at future proofing it for like Lissandra, so you can like dwindle them down and do more damage to the nexus. They also have here that when a unit dies, deal 1 to the enemy nexus. I think this is already in the game, right? So when a unit dies, deal 1 to. So actually, that doesn't say ally or enemy. So that's just anybody. Anybody dying deals 1 to the enemy nexus, which is very interesting. But it doesn't boost this up, similar to like Jinx. People have been wanting Jinx to have like a little bit more power. The 1 power thing, if anything is tough, it just kind of does nothing, right? So they were hoping that maybe you can ramp that power with Jinx. They could also redo that, right? Now, when you damage the enemy nexus, grant the people raiding party, that's like built for him, which is crazy. Mana flow, and then last but not least, the demonic ascension. When you damage an enemy with a spell or a skill, deal the same amount to all other enemies as well. That is very heavy-handed. That is strong as hell. Like, what my thing would be is like when you damage them with like an AoE spell, does it just do it again? Is that what I'm? Does it just do it twice? Is that what I'm thinking? But also, what's crazy is that when you use the spell or skill, it's also then going to trigger this your passive to just trigger as well. I'm assuming this is not a skill. I'm assuming this is a passive, so it happens instantaneously, immediately as you do a spell. Now, obviously, you're going to need to see Swain's deck to see how many spells he has, and things of that nature. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see. But right now, I would say Swain is extremely strong. I think that the ability to constantly nuke the Nexus, just this left side, just constantly nuking the Nexus over and over and over again for each round, like not even having any interaction with your opponent, is kind of crazy. And Swain's deck has like stuns in it, and this passive right here will literally be triggering, if Swain's on the field, it will hit the Nexus, and then it will pretty much stun the strongest in the back row, I think it is. So that's going to be crazy if Swain's on the board. So yeah, I definitely think this is going to be super duper strong. Yasuo is also super duper strong, but he's always been like that. So it's cool to see them bringing in old champions, which is very cost efficient for them, by the way. Not making a brand new character. Like, Swain doesn't need a new visual update or anything like that. Like, so boom, this is perfect. And this is what they've been saying, is that they're going to be doing more Path of Champion stuff. So look forward to, which I'm sure some people might be disappointed, right? The last one, they did drop new characters, right? So we got Lux 2, we got Lilia, and then we got the other one that I can't remember right now, and I'm probably going to be pissed the fact that I forgot. Vex, yes, there it is. I said I know I'd be pissed if I forgot. You know, they got a bunch of new characters, and this one, not so much, right? They're just trying to basically add old characters that are already existing in the game and putting them into the game in a different way. So I actually approve of that. I think that's fine while they're building up. Save that money. All them bundles, I'm expecting something to come out of it. You know, that'd be pretty good. And I think the last thing would be the patch notes, which I have here, and I'm pretty sure they have some bundles. The world maps is the new thing. New champion Swain. That's just a weird thing to see. And they have all his lovely powers. Yasuo, all his lovely powers. And they're going to have a Swain bundle. And it looks like it's going to be, this means it's a relic. So a new relic specifically for him. And, you know, some fragments stuff. I usually buy these because they just, I don't know, they usually cost. I usually buy them specifically for the relic. I don't mind spending, like I've always said, I don't like buying RNG. I will buy something straight up though. I wonder if it would tell us what that relic is. It doesn't look like that. There's a bunch of bug fixes. It's an improved daily quest, inconsistently awarding bronze vaults. I was wondering what that was, like these bronze vaults though, that should technically be like a low amount of champion shards for the daily quest, which would be really helpful, but I've only seen EXP, which is kind of weird. So yeah, all this other stuff I'm probably not gonna read. No, I'm not. I'm kind of curious what that one thing is, but I don't think it's in this thing. There's some PvP changes that I don't care about, and yeah, that's pretty good. All good for us. Some exciting things coming on the way, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which you guys already seen what that's going to be. So that should be coming out, like I said, a few hours or so afterwards. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.